Centrist Democratic Senator Claire McCaskill was just voted out in the midterms. She did an interview with The New Yorker, and she told us something about Chuck Schumer that basically confirmed, I'm having trouble talking today, confirmed our worst fears. Take a look.
What about your party, though? Democrats have gone ahead and reelected Schumer here on the Senate side to be majority leader. Nancy Pelosi looks like she will be elected Speaker of the House. This is not exactly a fresh new face of leadership for the party. Are they the right people to challenge Trump?
Oh, I think Schumer's really good at his job. And I publicly opposed Harry Reid in his reelection at one point just because I didn't think he was the right guy for the job at that moment. I think Chuck's the right guy for the job at this moment because he is very good at trying to pull people together when it really matters and giving people the space to vote against the party line and not get on him. I mean, he was great with me. I mean, whenever I needed to vote against most of the Democratic caucus because I had a difference of opinion with them, he never made me feel uncomfortable or that I was somehow betraying him or my fellow Democrats.
So that's Claire McCaskill saying that Chuck Schumer was awesome because he didn't do his job. His job is to make sure that on Democratic priorities, you get all the Democratic votes in order. And she's saying, well, no, I mean, I'm a moderate. I'm a moderate Democrat from a red state. So when I had to vote against the Democratic Party line, I mean, he was totally cool about it. It never made me feel awkward, never put pressure on me or anything like that. Now, this is how we have asymmetrical warfare going on in Washington, D.C. Because flip the script. It is never the case in the other direction. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. You think Mitch McConnell or Paul Ryan or before him, John Boehner, you think these guys, what do you think they did? They were, well, oh gosh golly, if you have to vote against our tax cuts, do what you gotta do. Never, never. It is applying immense pressure on them. By the way, old school Democrats were not like this. I mean, you go back to the Democrats, like take Lyndon Johnson, for example. He famously twisted arms in order to get some of his priorities through. Now, of course, he was president, but point is, you're supposed to have Democratic leadership lead, literally, the Democrats and say, okay, here's what we're doing, and here's how we're all going to get on the same page. And, oh, you don't agree? Okay, well, we're going to make you agree. What can we do? What can we do so that you vote this way? Oh, okay, you don't want to make a deal? Well, how about this? We turn on you, and we'll campaign against you, and we'll fund a primary opponent against you so that we do get what we want. So vote for this or lose your career. Which one do you want to do? This is how you're supposed to play politics. But according to McCaskill, nebbish Chuck Schumer be like, Claire, can you please vote in this direction on this bill? No, I can't. Oh, God, okay, no problem. I keep doing that voice, and it's like, I feel like it's borderline anti-Semitic. Like, I shouldn't do that voice. I really shouldn't. It's so funny, though, but I really shouldn't do it. I shouldn't do it. That's not right. But, yeah, Wall Street Chucky, as I call him. Wall Street Chuck Schumer. He just caves. She said that he never made me feel pressure, never made me feel like I had to do that, or I was turning my back on the fellow Democrats. And by the way, she did turn her back on fellow Democrats repeatedly. So, McCaskill, now to be fair, McCaskill, even the worst of the moderate Democrats are better than the Republicans. That does have to be said. So, for example, Claire McCaskill supported net neutrality. That's big. That's important. She also was for Obamacare. She was also against Trump's tax bill. So these are all things. Now, we might file this under duh. If you're a Democrat, of course you should be on this page. But again, I mean, it's Missouri, so it could be a Republican, and the Republican would be against net neutrality, against Obamacare, against Trump's tax bill. So, I mean, or for Trump's tax bill. So you got to give credit where credit is due. But she also is one of the worst Democrats. She's very Manchin-esque, if you will, because she called Bernie Sanders, quote, too liberal and extreme. Go fuck yourself, Claire. And she's against Medicare for all. She says it's like unworkable. You can't do it. Tell that to every other developed country in the world that has one version or another of single payer. And here's the big whopper. She voted with Trump 45% of the time. So almost half the time she voted with Donald Trump. Now, listen, I get it that even if you apply pressure and you're Chuck Schumer, she's not going to vote with you every time. I understand that. But you're telling me that if Chuck Schumer didn't know how to play politics, that number wouldn't go down from 45% to 30%? You can't chip away at that a little bit? You can't make that 45% of the time vote with Trump 30%? You can if you tried and if you cared. But here's the secret. Chuck Schumer is a moderate himself. He's a centrist. He's a corporatist himself. He voted for the Iraq War. He voted for the Patriot Act. He was against the Iran deal. So that's why the Democratic leadership is not making people vote in a democratic way, because they're not all that democratic. So this is why Chuck Schumer should not be the Democratic leader. He just shouldn't. He doesn't represent us. He doesn't represent us. So I'm supposed to let this guy lead us when he doesn't represent me? Are you kidding me? What a joke. What kind of a joke is that? Why is it the Republicans always get somebody who represents the base? We never get anybody who represents the Democratic base. It's the worst. And Claire McCaskill is now out of politics. Good riddance.